Hello everybody, I'm Akeem.
And I'm Simone.
And we are The Hills. Welcome to The Hills Have Arrived YouTube channel. We've been talking about it for a long time, but guess what? It is finally here. We're going to be talking about marriage, we're going to be talking about ministry, we're going to be talking about music, we're going to be talking about people, we're going to be talking about this, we're going to be talking about
everything we talk about on the regular.
Everything we talk about on the regular, honestly. So we're so excited to have launched it. This is our first episode, and we thought it was very befitting to talk about our love story, how we met, how it all happened, the confirmations, and how God was in it all the time.
There's a lot that you guys don't know.
Yes.
So we feel like it's time to share.
It is time to share. And listen, y'all know me. I'm somewhat of an open book. You know, I love to share. I love to talk to people. I'm very extroverted. But this is a little different for my wife because she's more
introverted and private. And like, do you really want to do this?
Right.
But it'll help someone.
This is going to be all for God's glory. We believe that God has put us together, and we know that what God has put together, no man can put asunder. But we just want to be an inspiration to many of the people who are getting married, who are already married, and people who are looking for marriage. God does all things, and He does all things well. Mm-hmm. Amen, somebody.
Amen. Amen.
This really dates back to 2017 when I had a conversation with my pastor in January of that year. And I said to him, I have many different prayer requests that I would like God to answer this year. But more specifically, I really wanted God to show me who my wife was. I wasn't trying to get married, I wasn't trying to propose. So fast forward to August 2017 when I just came back from the Cool JC convocation. And typically after conferences, many people will start to request other people, and you'll see people in your suggestions. And I actually saw her in the suggestion pile. However, she was not at the conference. So I'm saying, who is this beautiful lady, and why did she just pop up out of nowhere? It was unreal to me.
Out of heaven.
Out of heaven, literally. Let there be Simone.
Period.
And there she was. Moving forward, I did request her on Facebook, and then I eventually found her other social media outlets because I feel all of them, Instagram, Twitter, and I believe that people show different sides to them on different social media outlets. Am I right?
Yeah.
Between August and December of that year, I had very minimal conversation, but there were some talks. I said Happy Thanksgiving.
He thinks there were talks, guys. I responded to DMs very briefly. I didn't talk to you. Okay?
I said Happy Thanksgiving. She said Happy Thanksgiving to you too. I said Merry Christmas. She said Merry Christmas to you too.
I don't even respond to people, so to this day I don't understand how he got responded to.
All the time. Every time I reacted to a story, she would like it. Okay. She would always give me attention. I was like, okay.
So no. I would respond the same. Say Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
Hey, I'll take it. So moving forward in January of that year, I said, listen, I can't waste any more time because I really need to make my approach. So that's when I officially introduced myself.
Yes.
And then it kind of went on from there. It just went onward and upward from there. We started talking like Saturday night because you told me to have a good church service.
Oh yeah,
and I said church was great.
He said he knew that he had me because I said have a good service.
Yeah, she said that. She said that first, and I was like, what?
I was a little intrigued at that point. I was a little intrigued because the way the conversations were going, it was like, oh, okay, this is different.
Right. So what happened then is that Monday she had lost her phone. So I prayed to God and I said, God, if this is your will that I get in this relationship, please make sure she finds her phone. And then by the end of that night, she found her phone.
Which is crazy.
Because she's in New York, Brooklyn, biggest city. Right. Exactly. Right. I just knew that God was doing something because He was testing my faith, and I really appreciated how He literally brought me from faith to faith.
And that was just one confirmation of all of the confirmations.
But we can talk about
the confirmations is a whole video. Like I have like a bookload.
Yeah, she does. And she gave me a piece of that confirmation on my wedding.
So if you saw the wedding, if you saw the wedding video and you saw him emotional, it's because he saw the confirmation. It ain't over till it's over.
We just want to share this one piece that everybody's been asking us. We have never met each other ever. We've never seen each other. We never knew who each other were. I didn't know anything about this woman. She knew nothing about me.
Same circles.
But we had the same circle of friends, which is crazy.
He was on flyers with people, because I sing, but he like sings. So he was on flyers with people that I know. And I never, it's like God hid us from each other. I know people have heard that story before about God hiding you.
Yeah.
That was our story. Like, we were hid from each other.
Legit.
Other people knew him, and I did not know him from nowhere.
So for those of you who think that we knew each other on the low or something like that, nothing. I knew nothing
God
about
hid us
Simone
from each
Miller.
other until the right time.
Exactly.
And we were both praying. We didn't mention that part. We were, at the time when we did finally speak, we realized that we were both praying to find out who our partners were at the same time. Because we were both in consecration in our churches.
Yeah.
And I literally remember praying, and this is rare because, like I said, well, I didn't say it yet. At the time when I met him, I was not focused on a relationship. But at that time happened to be one of those times where I was like, all right, God, I need my husband this year. Because I felt like everything was coming into place.
Yeah.
I had just got into a brand new school that I always wanted to go to since I was 18. It was like the top business school in the country. And I was so, I felt like everything was right. My money was right. My job was right. But I felt like I was missing that. And it just so happened that we were both praying for that at the same exact time.
At the same time.
To keep the story short, like I mentioned before, I met Akeem at a time where I was done with relationships. I was single for 3 whole years, done. 3. And I really feel like that's the point. Unfortunately, ladies, we have to we get to that point because we go through so much. I mean, I could write a book on what I've been through. Some people know my story. Some people think they know my story. But I could write a book on what I've been through, okay? And it's like a lot of it self-inflicted. I can say that, because ladies, we know, but we just pretend like we don't know. But anyway, that's not for this channel. So I was living alone at the time, and I had just hit 25. And at 25, we get to this point, ladies, where we're just like, all right, it's like a quarter-life crisis. And people told me I was gonna feel that way, but I was like, me, Simone, not me, because I've always been so, vibrant and just full of life, and I don't really sit there and like mope in my feelings. I have bad days, but if I do have a bad day, I don't stay there. But 25, there was a night where I was out with a friend, and I was really like, wow, I'm really lonely. Like I started to feel, because I was living by myself, and it's like, it gets lonely. It gets lonely, and I got so lonely to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm getting a dog. I want a dog. I want a companion. Obviously, I'm not going to get married because what I wanted, people told me that it's impossible. People told me that I'm too picky. People told me that who I want doesn't exist. I had a list, ladies, okay? There's nothing wrong with your list. And guess what? I got my list. So it's like, make your request known.
Make your request known. That's Bible.
I got to a point where I was completely content. Like, I had conversations with God. Like, look, if I'm going to be single for the rest of my life, then that's okay. And I decided that, you know what, I'm going to get a dog because, a dog, you're going to have me and my dog. And I literally said the word, it's going to be me and my dog for the rest of my life. Okay, I bought my dog. So all throughout the process, this is around December, I was trying to get my dog and trying to move out to my new apartment. And then all throughout that time, he was sending me those messages that we talked about. Because, I see the messages coming to me, but I'm like, but wait, bye. I was talking about him, having little conversations. But it's funny because during that time, around November, I got a really strong confirmation about him. But we will speak about that in another video. January came, and I was about to move to my new apartment. Everything went through. I'm like, yes, God, finally I have my dog. I have everything. Everything is set, good to go. So then comes the day that I'm moving into my apartment, January 20th, 2018. And I look on my Instagram. I literally bring the dog home to my mom's house at the time. I literally bring the dog home. I look in my DM, and look who messages me. Akeem. The same day. That day, he messaged me, and I was like, okay, who is this dude? I happened to consult with a friend because throughout the time when he was messaging me prior to, I was discussing him with a friend of mine who was convinced that we were meant to be. So, I already knew who he was by this point. Like I said, he kind of made sure I knew who he was until he finally hit me up in January. So yeah, I thought it was like, how ironic. My dog just signified my independence. My dog signified, I got to a place I was like, okay, some women don't get married. And if I'm not going to get married, then I'm not going to get married. And so the fact that he hit me up that day, I'm like, okay. But yeah, when he hit me up, it was different from the very beginning. Within 3 days, I have everything written down. I have so many days. But yeah, that's the story part of it. That's the story of how we became a thing. By day 3, we went to our pastors. After a week, we were on the phone and we were talking about us. I think he asked me out before we even met in person.
Yes.
I could have been catfishing y'all.
Right.
He asked me out before we met. But that's how, honestly, our bond was so strong. Our first date, We were like talking about wedding colors. We had confirmations that day too. Like, we just knew. And here we are.
Here we are.
You know?
2 months married, or
2 months. 2 months and some change, Mary.
2 months and some change. So there you have it. That is episode 1. That is our story. Thank you so much for tuning in of how we met. Yes, absolutely. So please make sure to subscribe and tune in next time for another episode of The Hills Have Arrived.